So just to we'll go through just a real brief on what we're up to here. We've been around since 2012. First couple of years was just R&D, but really been growing fast. We have now over 700 media partners around the country, mostly newspapers with some radio, TV, magazines also. We have one Swift member that's utilizing our calendar now. That's Steamboat Pilot. But it's good to talk to the rest of the group here. Kind of what we do is we can go into any area and we'll find out where your audience is, and then we will turn on our technology and we're able to find all the events, or not all, but most all the events that are going on in your area. So we'll find it, parse it, harvest, we'll give it a photo, and then we'll put it directly up on your calendar. We update the calendars every couple of days, so it's always up to date. So we do all the heavy lifting and making sure you've got the most complete calendar out in the market. You know, it's not just finding the tough or the easy to find things like the music venues and that type of thing, but we can even get into libraries, we can get into schools, we can get into chambers, those types of things. Assuming that the website is halfway decent, we're able to grab that and put it onto your calendar. We also give you some built-in revenue tools so you can start generating money for your calendar. For a lot of our partners, it really is a positive revenue stream for them. And then those that are utilizing our technology for reverse pub, getting those events to print, really is a really easy process to do that. So those are the three main benefits of our calendar. I'll go ahead and show you a few examples of our partner sites, and we'll go into one of it. Here is here in Salt Lake City. It's a weekly. You can see this is their homepage here, and if you scroll down on that homepage, you will see a widget calendar. It should be right up here. This has events that are going on in the area, and I'll show you a few different examples of widgets here, but most of our partners will put that right on their homepage. So if you click on the events, it will take you over to the portal calendar page. And you can see here, this is the portal page. Probably 85% of the events that you're seeing here for today are coming directly from us. Probably about somewhere around 10 to 15% are coming from event promoters that are adding those events themselves. So just about everything you see here is coming from us. If you click on any of the events, it'll give you the details of the event, when it is, where it is. You've got the social media on there, more information. You, as the calendar, people that are working on the calendar, you'll also have here in the corner an ability to promote that event directly onto the calendar. You can edit it. You can remove it directly from here. And you can also do the same thing from here. So if you want to remove an event, you can do that directly from here. We have over 500 categories to choose from. So I, as a consumer, if I'm coming onto the calendar and I want to get something specific that I'm looking for, let's say performing arts events, I can click on and it'll give me those events that are going on. Once it loads up, there it is, of, in this case, performing arts events. You can also, most of our partners have the list view from here by time, but you also have the ability to have the tile view. Just kind of gives it a little different look with a little larger photo for those events. You determine, like I said, the radius. In Salt Lake City here, they've got a 50-mile radius, so it's a big area for events. But I can narrow that down too. Let's just say I want a 10-mile radius around Salt Lake City. I, as a consumer, again, have the ability to do that. I can also look on as a map view, and it'll show me events that are going on in that neighborhood. Oh, there it goes. So I can even get down to the street level of where that event takes place. And narrow it down. And once that populates with the events, there they are. You can see what's going on in your neighborhood. So you could either expand it or decrease it again as a consumer. But for you all there, as far as the setup, you'll determine the radius of what you want the initial view is for the people looking at the calendar. Really easy for event promoters to add events. So once they do that, they can just click on the add event. They can add their event directly to the calendar. And once that's done, email is sent over to you all or whoever's in charge of the calendar to approve or deny that event. So you can see these are all Memorial Day events that are going on today in the Salt Lake City area. If they don't see the event, they can create the new event directly here. So they can put all their information in there. If they don't have a photo to attach, we have a library of photos that they can add a photo for the library. Like I say, once that's done, email is sent over to you to approve or disapprove. Most of our partners have a 2 or 3 hour window. So if they don't have a chance to approve it, it'll automatically go up onto the calendar directly. Once the event promoter has added the event, they'll be prompted to see if they want to advertise that event for the calendar. So they can actually go on, pay for, and you determine what you want available for them to advertise. They can advertise up at the top over here. We've got sponsorship opportunities, ads on the sidebar here for them to be able to advertise their event. So again, if they go in, advertise it, and put all their credit card information or PayPal, we handle all those transactions. We do a 50-50 split with our partners on that. Anything that you all sell, your staff, of course, you keep 100% of that for yourself. So it's a good way to start generating money off of the calendar. I'll show you a couple of other examples. Here's Palo Alto. That's a weekly down in between San Francisco and San Jose. This is their homepage. They've got their widget right there on the homepage highlighting specific events. You go over to the calendar, and you can see now theirs. They just have a 7-mile radius around Palo Alto, so they don't want events showing up from San Francisco or San Jose. As you can see here, once those are loaded, so again, you can go down to specific neighborhoods and find events that are going on in your area. Now again, you can change the radius as a consumer. So if I want a larger radius, say a 25 or 35 mile radius, I can do that also. I could even change it to a different city. So if I was going to Chicago for the weekend, I could go ahead and put in Chicago, Illinois, and it'll show events that are going on in Chicago. So again, for our partners that we're working with, we do, again, all the heavy lifting. We find the events. We get them up on the calendar. We update every few days to make sure that your calendar is the most complete that you have. You can also, and on the back end, which I'll show you in a minute, if you want to block specific categories, you can do that directly from here too. So those types of events don't show up on your calendar. And I'll show you Steamboat because they're one of the partners that we are working with. And you can see this is their home page here. So if you click on the Happenings calendar, you can go and see. Now there are some restrictions to Steamboat. They only want event promoters that are putting live entertainment, fundraising, or nonprofit or free events on the calendar. And they have chosen not to give have advertising opportunities for them currently. So if you want to restrict that, you can do that very easily also. So again, probably 85 to 90% of those events that you're seeing there are coming directly from us. Also, opportunities to generate some money off the calendar, besides off the sidebar ads and on the top, are the widget ads. I'll show you one specific example here. This is in the Petaluma area. So you can create widgets throughout your site. Like, for example, we work with the Denver Post. They've got a sports section, so they're going to create a widget with just sporting events. A food and dining section, so there'll be food and dining. Here, this happens to be a magazine, Sonoma. That's Sonoma County in California. One of the bigger areas is Petaluma, so they created a page just for Petaluma events. And you can see here is a 3-column widget, which showing events that are going on this weekend, all week in the area, and then they've got the sponsors over here. So again, a lot of opportunities to generate some money, and also get really specific with the widgets for what you want. If you go by region, you could go by types of events, however you want to set up. Really easy to set up these widgets on your site. Any questions or thoughts on that on the front end of the calendar? All right, I'll take that as a go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I had to turn my mute off, Joe.
Oh, okay.
We had a couple questions. So when you're making the changes, us as the consumer, are those real time, or is there a 2 or 3 hour delay in those?
I'm sorry, you just broke up.
Those are, I'll answer it, Joe. Those are real time.
Okay.
So the calendar does update in real time. There is so we will publish new events that we find every couple of days. But if a user added an event, or if you guys made an edit or added an event, that's all done in real time.
Okay. And then can promoters, once they enter an event, can they go back and edit their own event if a time changed or they have more information to add?
Yeah,
they can.
Yeah, they do. They have that ability. That's correct.
Okay. And then kind of along the same lines, like if the events that you guys find, like is there like any event you find, you add it, like even if it's like a year out, or is there a window that you're adding events in?
Do you want me to take that, Joe, or you got that one?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we typically go out 6 months in advance, and we will pull events up to 6 months out. So if we see right now, if somebody, let's say the city has already posted their Easter egg hunt for next year, we wouldn't pull that in until like October, right? And then we put it in the calendar. We can set that up differently if you want, but just as a general rule of thumb, that's how we pull things in. So like right now we're starting to pull in around Thanksgiving, right? So if there's a turkey trot or something like that, we'd be pulling that in at this point. But then we will continue to look at those events, right? And so, sometimes they'll change the event, we can update it and that sort of thing, right? So.
Okay. So if
that being said, any event that you guys touch, so if an admin touches an event or if a user touches an event, we actually will no longer touch the event. So let's say you guys entered an event by hand and we pulled one in that was the same event. Whatever you entered, we would keep, and we would just toss what we pulled. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
You mentioned there was a video option for the user. Do you have an example of that?
Let's see.
If you go to just ads, Joe, on the back end, you can find one that's added a video and pull it up.
Okay. All right. Let's go on the back end here, and we'll go to ads.
Just ads and promoted events at the top, yeah.
Yeah.
So that top one has a video, but it's not approved yet. Scroll down. I'll find one that's been approved already. So the videos, while Joe's finding that, the videos are on the details page. We actually are currently, so there's a couple right there, Joe. Scroll down. Yeah, there you go. Any of those that have just the media on those, just click through on the name.
On the name right
Joe.
here.
And there's like 15 of them. Do you see the one that have the YouTube video? Just click through on the name of the event. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so it'll pull up on the event details page. We have on our roadmap to redo the front end a little bit. Some of the things we're going to add on the front end is next to like the event name, you would see a video icon letting you know that there's a video also with that event. Scroll down, Joe. You'll see it just below the description. Should be their video. Joe, where are you going? I've seen you pass it twice. It's right there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Just click on this right here.
No, scroll up. The video is on the screen. Scroll up. It's just right there. Yeah.
Right there. Oh, okay. I thought that was an ad. Sorry about that.
No, that's their video. So anybody can add a video. This has to be through like Vimeo or YouTube or one of those platforms. So that's what it would look like. It would just attach on the details page. And what calendar are you on right now? So this opened in a new page. A lot of our partners will have a modal pop up rather than an additional page. So it's really up to you guys how you want that to look.
All right.
So when somebody clicks on an event. So if you go over to like City Weekly, Joe, you can look at their, I think you can show them what the modal looks like versus the additional page.
The City Weekly.
Yeah, just the other tab that you have City Weekly calendar open in. No, just the tab at the top, Joe. Just go to their calendar page.
Oh.
So you just click on an event there and just show them what the modal looks like.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if they had a video, it would show up here in this modal as well, just kind of similarly.
Yeah.
Just be right below the description. Any other questions on anything that we've seen or looked at? Or just curiosity, Benji? Okay.
Do you have an example of what it looks like on mobile or tablet, or how it would feed into our app?
Yes, that's a good question. So the app, there's a number of different ways that it can feed into an app. So you can consume an API. You can just point to your website if it's mobile friendly, right? I mean, I don't know how you're wanting to do that, but there's a number of ways that can work. And then on the mobile view, we are optimized for all different views. So whether that be a tablet or a larger phone or a smaller phone. Again, we are going to be redoing the view on mobile shortly. One of the feedbacks we have is currently there's no interstitial ads on mobile, and so there's not really any ads on the mobile version, which of course is good for a user, but maybe not as good for you guys that are trying to sell ads into the platform. And so we are going to add an option to put interstitial ads in mobile. But the mobile would look a lot like this. It's actually, it defaults to the list view. So if you have the tile view, if you're using a tile view, I don't know, Joe, you can click on the tile view and show them that.
Yeah.
If that's what you have as your default, when you go to mobile, it would actually change that to a list view. So if you had a tile view, because that's what you like, that's great. On the mobile, it would default to list view.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, good question. Anything else before we kind of take a look at the back end?
Yeah, can you, maybe this is a back-end question, but can you limit the number of words people put in their descriptions?
Oh, I'm sorry, you broke up again there. I missed that.
Can you limit the number of words people can put in a event description? You can, especially when you're, especially for print, you can put a restriction on how many words description that can be.
Yeah, so there's kind of, there's two descriptions. So there's a description, right. Just your basic description field you cannot limit currently. But for print, you can, there's a custom field that is meant for print descriptions. And on that one, you can control how many characters or words that people use or can put into it.
Right.
And then you do have full control over any content. So if you wanted to edit any event, you're welcome to edit and change any descriptions that you want to change. And so Joe's pulling up the modal here. There's a little button there on the bottom right-hand corner. It says inline edit or full edit. Full edit allows you to edit every single field, image, all of it, right? If you just click on the inline edit, it's actually a really quick way to edit like descriptions. And so go back, Joe, and just click inline edit. It doesn't take you anywhere. It's just right here on the page. You can edit the description. You can see they are using a print field.
Right here.
Yeah, don't scroll so much, Joe. It's
okay.
It's okay. But you can see that the print field, they have a shorter description placed in there than they do on the regular field. Is that what you would be looking to modify it for, is for print specifically?
Yeah, mostly just trying to limit the editing time on our end, and
sure.
limiting the number of words or characters that they can put in there on,
Yeah, so we do have some fancy ways that we kind of cheat that a little bit. So we actually, when we do reverse publishing and set that up for you, we can say, hey, we want to pull the first 200 words to the nearest period for print descriptions. And so what that'll do is it'll go in and it'll look and it'll say, okay, here are the first 200 characters or whatever it is, right? We go through and find the first period that happens right before 200. So it might give you, 199 characters, or it might give you 75, right? Depending on how long that second period comes or whatever. Right? So we can do some things where we can shorten that. Obviously, it's not perfect as far as, it's not a perfect copy edit and exact description, but unless somebody's paying you to make sure that that description is perfect for their event, maybe that would work. So we have a lot of partners that use that, and then we have others that just forego the description completely because of that same thing, right? They just say, hey, we're putting in your event, and unless you're paying us to print the description, we're not going to put it in there. So I don't know. There's some options there for that, because we just pull the description exactly the way that we find it, right? So wherever we're pulling from, be that the city website or the local bar or the live music or whatever it is, we're just pulling the description exactly the way we find it and put it in there. Does that answer your question, kind of, sort of?
Yeah, it did. Thanks.
Okay.
All right. Anything else before we go to the admin site? All right. Then let's go ahead and take a look at the back end now. Everything I show you here, you'll have access for your sites. I happen to be in as an administrator for the company, so I get to see a little bit more what we've got here. So first thing we'll look at is the analytics. I'm sure most of you have analytics now. This is kind of a supplemental analytics, so it's a great tool to be able to share with your advertisers or potential advertisers. We can take a look at here at the web traffic. You can see here at any given time who's looking at this case at the portal calendar, who's clicked on what promotions for those events, and clicks showing over here. We can take a look at the widgets here and see again on a daily basis who's looked at those widgets and how many clicks for events on the widget. So we can see here, looks like it's a close battle between the Miss City Weekly and the Utah Beer Festival here in Salt Lake. So we can look at page views, we can look at unique views, visitors there. So again, kind of a cool thing to be able to share with your advertisers. This is where you'll probably spend most of your time. We'll make sure that everybody that you want working on the calendar will be able to have access to this back end here. Portal's probably where you spend most of your time, at least initially, getting the market set up. And I'll go ahead. We'll stick with Salt Lake Weekly. So this is where we'll set up your account over here. It's really easy to get started. It really is a copy and paste one line of text here, and you can get it directly up to your calendar portal page. So it just takes a few minutes to do that. For us to get started, it generally takes a few weeks to once we get the agreement in, to be able to go in to your area, get the radius, get the events, get them approved, and get them up onto your calendar. Of course, we'll match the color scheme of your site so that it looks exactly what is your calendar on your site. So we can see here, this is what the setup is for the Salt Lake City Weekly. They've got a 50-mile radius from here. Let's see. We can look at configuration, and we'll do all this setup for you on the back end. And I'll just show you the content. This is where, if you want to, for example, now in the Salt Lake City Weekly, these are all the events that they want blocked from their site. So they don't want sightseeing, webinars, those types of events on the calendar. So again, we've got 500 categories to choose from. So you'll be able to block any specific categories. Looks like they don't want a competitor in there, so they block keywords. I think that's a radio station in the area here. Let's go ahead and look at with the widgets. Same thing, really easy to set these widgets up for you here. And you can see they've got several widgets on their site. So if we go ahead and click on one of them, and this is just a copy and paste of 2 lines of text, and you can put that on whatever page you want. So they've got a sponsored events widget that they've created, a horizontal. If you wanted to change that widget, you could add it to any of these that you want here, and it'll show you an example of what that would look like. So you can create whatever widgets you want, whatever size you want, onto your site directly from here. And you could do, again, you could block specific categories from that widget, days to show. You can change the radius of the widget, so you can get as creative as you want with the widgets. For some of our partners that want to help promote the site, they'll even work occasionally with a chamber of commerce or something to give them a widget, so they can add a widget to their site. Create a widget specific to what they're doing, and then of course you have the advantage. Every time they click on an event, it'll redirect over to your site. We won't talk too much today about voice or ticketing, but those are a couple of other options that we have, and we'd be glad to talk about those at another time for you. We'll go ahead and just skip over to the events here. We were kind of looking at those before. So you'll have access on the back end here. If we want to look at, again, we'll just keep it consistent here and put in Salt Lake. So you can see on the back end all the events that are scheduled between the 24th, and again, you can change the date range, all that up here. And from here, you can block an event just like you can on the front end. You can edit those events. You could also promote those directly. So what I think is cool about this is being in sales, you've got all these events, and a lot of them you're going to have a lot of contact information, seeing events that are coming up down the pike, so you can contact them and get it promoted directly onto the calendar. Same thing with user submitted events, very similar, that you'll be able to go on and see who has submitted events. And again, you can approve or deny those, edit those directly from here. You can also create events on the back end, just like kind of how I showed you how the event promoters do it on the front end. So you can add events directly onto the site. Go through Reverse Pub here. Again, a lot of our partners like us for this feature alone, that we're able to then go ahead and get the events onto from the calendar, online calendar, to print. So I'll just give you a quick example here, and I'll just put in a partner. And you set the parameters up here, and we'll go ahead and get events for that parameter. And we can see, based on that, there are 200 events based on the criteria that is set up here. If you want to, again, what we'll do is we'll work with each one of you individual sites, and we'll make sure whatever style you have for your print, we will match that and put it on the admin site for you. So really easy to change. Like, for example, if you didn't want the description, you could just take that off there, and you'll see the description is off for those events. If you want to narrow that search down, like say, for example, I don't want all events, I just either want user submitted or promoted events, you can do that directly from here. You can go by category. So instead of all categories, I just want performing arts categories. And then if I run that, that will narrow.
One thing that's great on that too, like Joe said, is that we actually will set that up for you guys, and so you don't have to worry about trying to format that. So that's a very simple version of the export. So, Joe, if you go back to reverse publish and then let's find one that's already set up, we can just show them one that we've worked on just to show you. So you can see that field right there, that custom field is very simple. But if you go, yeah, just open events and then reverse publish again.
Okay.
Go to, I don't know, you could pull up like one of the, I don't know, you could pull up Tahoe Weekly, so TW, or just pull up Tahoe Weekly, yeah.
All right.
Click on that. So click on, I don't know, one of their TW Arts maybe, or something. I don't know, they have a whole bunch of them. So you can see all the different reverse publishes that we've set up for them. So they reverse publish a whole bunch of different calendars. Scroll down, Joe, you can show them like the formatting. So this is something we set up for them, so you don't have to. But as you can see, obviously that formatting is a lot more complicated, but they have a really specific, Joe, where are you going? Scroll back up to the formatting there.
All right.
Thank you.
Right here.
So
Yeah.
So so you can see that you know, they have a specific way they want to display phone numbers and dates and times and I mean everything you can think of. Not only that, we're also already adding their paragraph styles, and so they have specific paragraph styles that they want on each of these different lines, and those are already being added. And so when they come down to the bottom and they click export selected and they choose an InDesign tag text file and they're using InDesign for their print layouts, then all of their InDesign paragraph styles are already applied when they take that text document, they put it into their InDesign tag text or into their InDesign layout. They'll create a text box and they put the tag text in there. It's already formatted and done, ready to go. And then if there are any, you know, and as Joe scrolled down before, you can see, so just scroll down there, Joe, a little bit.
Yeah.
You can see all the events that are being pulled in are down here below. You can uncheck an event, and so you can scroll through and just do a quick once over and look at the events. You can do an inline edit down here, so you're like, hey, I'm about to print, but I just need to quickly change a thing or two. You could do that right from here. So, and then as Joe's unchecking those, scroll back up, Joe, and you can see that it's actually giving you a live, it's giving you a live count of how many events are being pulled. And so it was at 78, I think, a second ago, and now it's at 76 because he's unchecked 2 of them. Anyway, so you can kind of see that there. But and then you would take and do an export selected. You would do an InDesign tag text file that downloads right to your machine, and then you would take that file and drop it into your InDesign text box. So anyway, really simple to do. So yeah, so that'll open up here in a text, and you can see all the paragraph styles are already being applied, and everything's ready to go. When you put that in, it's done.
Yep. So again, our partners, a lot of our partners think this is the best feature we have as far as getting the ease of getting those events to print. Any other questions on that? So I could kind of go over to the ads. So same thing here. You'll be able to tell at any given time anybody that's went ahead and paid for promotions directly onto the site. You can see on a daily basis here. Now again, here's one for $30 a day. Here's one for $15 a day with premium, and so on down the right. So what we have found is about 15% of the event promoters that add an event to your calendar will also pay for some type of advertising on the site itself. So from here, you can approve or deny it. directly.
Just to clarify on that, Joe, I think you said 15, but it's 5%.
5%.
5%, yeah.
So that's you know, for a lot of our partners, it's a way of generating some money off the calendar, just directly from event promoters. Any questions on that? And you don't have to limit the advertising to the calendar itself. If you want to customize any type of promotions, you can do that directly here. If you want to give them some print options, or if you want to give them some Facebook posts, anything as creative as you can be, you can give them those options from here.
Hey, Joe, I have a hard out here in a couple minutes. I'm not sure if everybody else on the call, I'm assuming other people probably do too. Are there any questions? We haven't maybe shown every little thing, obviously, that the calendar can do. There are a lot. There's a lot that the calendar can do. It's pretty comprehensive. But are there any questions about anything pertinent that you maybe haven't seen or just would like to see?
And I'd be glad to take questions. You could give me a call or email me if there's any questions, or I can go through Trent. Whatever's the easiest way for you all to get your answers or thoughts. All right. Well, I guess that will wrap it up here. Again, if you have any questions, you can just email me at joe@cityspark.com. Trent, I'll go ahead and follow up with you today on what the next steps are. But thanks everybody for jumping on the call. Sorry for the little delay in the beginning. I'm getting it started. But again, thanks for taking the time to take a look at it.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, great. Yeah, thanks, Joe. Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Take care, everybody.